Okay, so here we go. Let's get on top 3 things to watch next week. All right, so Kev, let's just dive right into it. So what's number 3?
The Chinese New Year holiday begins. And Patrick, I actually put this one there. And although you would think, what's the big deal? I'm beginning to actually wonder if this January effect that we see in the markets, because let's face it, January 19 was strong. Now it was off of a low base because of the problems the year before, but January 18 was also strong. We're definitely seeing January being the new strongest month. I'm beginning to wonder if this is something to do with China and
the Chinese gamma roll-off.
No, I don't think it's the Chinese gamma roll-off, but I do think it might have to do with them pumping liquidity into the system for their New Year holiday. And I know that sounds crazy and nuts, but
that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't going to say it.
Okay, well, anyways, so it comes. The holiday comes on. The holiday comes, I think, this Friday. I'm not really sure, but watch for that to be the top in the stock market. I'm calling it here.
All right. That's awesome. I'm dying to find out. Okay, number 2.
Okay, so we get market flash PMIs for the U.S., EU, UK, and Australia. I think it's going to be important to watch these PMIs to see if we're getting the strength in the economies that the market is already priced in.
I think they're going to come in either in line or lower. I don't think they beat.
So I'm beginning to be in your camp, Patrick. I think the market has gotten ahead of itself, and I suspect that we're going to see more and more surprises in terms of economic numbers disappointing.
All right. And so
watch for the strongest numbers you've ever seen. Okay, so we got 3. We got 3 central banks on deck. We got the ECB, BOJ, and the Bank of Canada on deck.
Just to warm up the Fed next week, right? The week after that.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Which one are you watching? Which one are you watching the closest?
I'm watching Bank of Canada. I think it's a big deal. I think
you've been ribbing Polos quite a bit, and so it'll be really interesting as to.
I haven't been ribbing him. Andrew Bell's the one that called him
he did.
The candy man. I was shocked at that. I was when I watched that video. So for those who don't know, I wrote a post and I included this video of BNN reporter Andrew Bell grilling, like, let's face it, grilling Stephen Polos, calling him the candy man, and that he's handed out all sorts of free low interest rate loans that's fueled our housing bubble.
Yeah.
And listen, he's not all wrong.
No, he's not.
Good
we
for
should
him.
Get him on the show. We should get him on
We should. Andrew, here you go, buddy. Open invite anytime you want to come on, and you can hold our feet to the fire just like you did to Polos.
I love it. All right. But anyway, so and is there anything you're watching on the Bank of Japan? You think it'll influence the fact that I'm winning on our currency trade?
No, I think the Bank of Japan is going to be the most boring. The ECB will probably be more exciting to watch. We're going to hit a point where Lagarde has recently announced that she's starting the review of the ECB policies. And this is something that we haven't done since 2003, Patrick. I think we're on the cusp of a dramatic change in Europe, and it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. But look for the ECB to really change its stripes. And although I think it's crazy and nuts, it looks like they're going to do it through these green bonds, these climate bonds, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they figure out a way to get it so that they're actually just directly printing these things for just so they can spend money.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Just expect the unexpected when it comes to this, because
you know what,
the surprises are going to be to the upside in terms of them spending money on climate change.
When I see all these different things that we have in the top 3, and then we look at the fact that there was this big option expiration roll off, and obviously there could be a few more days where the market may gravitate higher in the post expiry period, but it just feels like I've been. My spidey senses are saying we can't make it through January making new highs. I feel like while I'm not willing to circle a specific day on the calendar, I just feel like we're going to be in the midst of some meaningful mean reversion before the month is through, and like maybe one of these triggers will be the thing. You're looking at the Chinese New Year holiday, but maybe it's one of these central banks. But something's gonna. All it needs is a spark, a trigger, or something to just get the ball rolling the other way. It feels like that, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't disagree. And one of the things that I worry about is that this time, we could have. It feels even worse than last time. Last time it was the XIV exploding or imploding that caused the real sell off. What if it's more of a fundamental nature? Because although we had rallied a long way, that was on the backs of tax cut in 2018. There was actually more changes in the marketplace that had kind of, let's just say, offered a fundamental reason to get long. This one, yes, you could argue that the change in the Fed's policy has been one of the kind of impetuses to cause the rally. But that liquidity that the Fed has put in is fickle. And I could easily see them kind of figuring out that they've pushed a little too hard on it and pulling back on it, either through cutting back on their repos or something like that, or even just doing too much TGA, which is the Treasury General Account.
Yeah,
I just feel like we're very close to a point where we stretch the market so far, and it's not stretched on a fundamental basis, but more on a technical basis due to liquidity. I know that's a very unpopular opinion. A lot of people say it's not QE, all these reasons why it doesn't affect the stock market. It shouldn't be going up. I call it BS. I think it is going up because of the liquidity, and it doesn't really matter. We'll see in a week or two when the Fed reverses that, whether we're right or not.
All right. I like it.